Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Challenge Athletes Live. My name is Bob Babbitt, co-founder of Challenge Athletes Foundation, and I'm excited to have Operation Rebound athlete. He is a triathlete, a surfer, a water skier, a wakeboarder, and a champion in all of them. Mr. Scott Leason joins us. Scott, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there, just dealing with the pandemic the way I'm supposed to. And, I opted out of everything this year and stayed home, and I'm isolating and staying safe. So, and then working out here at home and hoping to continue my, athletic career when it's safe to do so.
So, Scotty, take me through your morning routine. You work out pretty much every morning, right?
Yeah. So I like to get up like at around 2 in the morning and, have my coffee, kind of deal with the Facebook and the email and, the app updates and all that. And then, feed Snickers, get him out, and then I get on my, Schwinn Aerodyne and do my hour and 15 minutes of cardio. And then I get on my weight machine and do an hour of weightlifting. And the whole time, and the reason I get up so early is because at 3 o'clock is my favorite sports show that goes on for 4 hours. So I'm listening to sports for 4 hours while I'm doing my workout and everything. And then, especially when it was warm during the summer, that's why I would get it done early so that I can get Snickers out while it wasn't hot. And get him 30 minutes of walk time, because we're not as active as we were, but I need to get him out every day and get him some exercise.
So you lost your vision back in 1993. You had done 7 years in the Navy, came out of that unscathed. Talk to me about what happened at the convenience store that day.
Well, it was July 4th. 1993, I was working at the La Quinta Circle K in La Quinta, California. I had taken over the graveyard shift because the graveyard guy had quit. I had gone through training for, assistant manager, and my normal hours were from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. But so I took on this graveyard shift until we trained a new graveyard worker. And they came in around 2 in the morning. I had a customer at the counter, and they came in, bursting in, yelling and putting him face down on the floor. And I just, the one guy put his back to the measuring tape right there at the corner of the door. I was looking at him. He had his gun pointed at me. I was looking at him. He goes, "What you looking at?" And I turned away, and the other person came up and said, "Open the drawer." And so I went to open the drawer, but I had something rung up and it beeped. So I had to clear it. And I stepped back, put my hands up, and he grabbed the money out of the drawer. The drawer went flying. The last thing I heard from them was, you got the money, and the next thing was a big white flash. And then I was standing there and heard the customer yelling, "He's shot in the leg." And then I realized I was shot in the head. And then I sat down against the counter that was behind me, and he was, the customer was yelling, and I said, "The phone's over here." And so I just laid out, but I was conscious the whole time, and the police arrived and they got me to the hospital. So I was really fortunate in that the bullet entered my left temple, severed my left optic nerve, and then destroyed my right eye. So my right eye came out right away and had a prosthetic. And then a year later, the left eye shrunk and it needed to be removed. So I have 2 prosthetic eyes. And then when I always tell the story, I always go, "Well, it missed my brain," but everybody questions that for some reason.
For you,
that's just to loosen everybody up. It is kind of a traumatic experience, but
you
anyway,
always listen to something.
It's just something I've gotten used to saying. I'm very fortunate in that I'm still alive.
And is that the way you looked at it right from the beginning that, man, I'm lucky to be alive, or were there some really down times for you?
Well, you know, yeah, right away I was lucky to be alive, but then my from beginning I had never seen blind people on the streets really much. You know, I
Mhm.
really didn't know, and so at first, you know, before I went to my first, you know, like class, blind school at the Braille Institute, Rancho Mirage, I didn't know what was going to happen, and I was just like, you know, I had kids that were like 6 and 13 at the time, and um, just I didn't know what was going to happen, and then I went to the Braille Institute, and they put a cane in my hand, and then I met all kinds of people that deal with visual impairment, and so that was the jumping point. So I just started working real hard because they wouldn't let me live alone until I learned just blind skills just to live alone. So, you know, I had to depend on people and stuff, which is kind of hard for a guy, you know, when you're independent. But yeah, so I worked really hard to be independent. And then, while I was at the Foundation for the Junior Blind, I had a vocational rehab contract to train as a self-defense instructor for the blind, and they they collected their money and trained me and all this, and then they didn't certify me or hire me, and so I came back to San Diego and kicked around in City College for a while, and then kind of like took a wrong turn on my journey where like 3 or 4 years I hung around the wrong people, and I was partying and using drugs and alcohol, and they ended up leaving me stranded. Stole my car, left me stranded, and my family came and got me and put me under conservatives. And then at my low point, I was at a living care facility. So and that was at the year 2000. And so from that point on, I went to the Blind Community Center. I was introduced to blind surfing. Which I surfed since I was 10 years old, which was cool. And that was a once a year deal. And then they had a water skiing program that they did once a month for the 5 months of summer. And I had skied back in high school, so I got up on a ski. And when I got up on a ski, I went and searched out a place I can train, which was the Mission Bay Aquatic Center. And then I came to the Challenged Athletes Foundation for an online grant back in 2006, all victimized and, pudgy and everything else, but wanting to do something, and with a goal to go to the disabled 3-event water skiing nationals. And that's how I got involved with CAF.
And CAF and Operation Rebound, how important has CAF and Operation Rebound been since 2006?
Well, 2006, 2007, those first 2 years, the creation of Operation Rebound had not happened yet. But when they created Operation Rebound, they reached out to me, noticed I was a disabled veteran. I served in the Navy. So they reached out to me, and that's when I hooked up with Nico, and it's been awesome ever since. He's been such a big supporter of mine, and then meeting all the Operation Rebound athletes that have actually been, injured in theater and everything, where I served during peacetime. So they were inspiring to me and everything. So, but Operation Rebound, and Nico have been behind me all the way. That year I joined Operation Rebound. That was the first year I actually qualified in my first disabled water ski nationals. Since then, I've been to 6 of them. They're every 2 years. And I've got multiple silver medals in slalom skiing and trick skiing.
And also you became a triathlete. Who the heck would have thought that?
Well, not me. I'll tell you the story. The story is, So Kevin Straw, the director of the Mission Bay Aquatic Center, in did the SDTC in my behalf, the San Diego Triathlon Challenge. And I met him at the finish line, and I said, well, the following year I'm going to do it. So I went to Nico's house, and before that actual event, and I met Daniel Powell, and he introduced me to Blind Stoker Club, and I said, okay, I'm going to start doing this because I felt like I wanted to. I was so grateful that CAF had put faith in me and given me these grants, to do what I want to do. So I wanted to give back and pay forward, and so at 2010, I started doing the endurance stuff. So I've done 5 San Diego Triathlon challenges. And then on the year of the 5th, I also did my very first Ironman 70.3 Oceanside as a team member, as a relay team member. And you guys gave me a entry into the Arizona full Ironman. And so Brian McGoldrick was the captain that I met at the Blind Stoker Club. And he wanted to guide a blind person through an Ironman. I told him, hey, it's not on my bucket list. But I changed my mind. I trained, and then you guys gave me an entry into that Arizona, and at 59 years old, I crossed the finish line of Ironman, 16 hours, 12 minutes, but I wasn't after some kind of record, but it was awesome to finish, and it was awesome feeling at the end where everybody is still there and cheering you on. It's 11 o'clock at night, and I go, oh, they waited for me, and Brian was laughing at me and stuff. So, but
one of my favorite quotes from you is that you took the power away from the bullet, and I love that because you took what was the lowest point of your life, and look what you've achieved now, right? I was watching a video of you wakeboarding. How do you sense the wake? As somebody who's visually impaired, that blows me away that you were able to do that.
Yeah, well, the coolest thing about wakeboarding is that, well, I mean, to answer your question, so what I do is they teach me, the proper posture and stuff. You learn the posture in water skiing, so I was water skiing and trick skiing before I really got into the wakeboarding. But I did use a board for the trick skiing. So I was learning surface tricks and doing, 360s and 540s and little one-way jumps over behind a ski boat. But I would train at the aquatic center behind a wakeboard boat. So what it is all I do is I ride, and then I'm waiting for that wake. And when I hit the wake, that's when I make a move and pop, and stuff. So with time, I did a lot of, skiing and then trick skiing. But I finally decided I wanted to put my big boy pants on and wakeboard. I mean, because when you wakeboard, you get a lot higher and you try to clear the second wake. So, but the cool thing about that, and what I love so much, is back in the day when I was sighted, I raced motocross. So getting in the air is really exciting for me. It's a lot of fun. But so it's all about, so there's a whole different technique of trick skiing and then transferring to wakeboarding, because there's a whole technique on how you're supposed to go out and then make your approach and load the line and hit the wake, and then make your 180 or your 360 in the air. I never went inverted because I started all this stuff at 50 years old. I didn't think it was wise for me to go upside down, but so yeah, the wakeboarding is my favorite sport because it's the one sport I'm not tethered, and I don't have a coach telling me when to catch the wave in surfing. And it's just me behind there. I get up in the air and I have fun doing tricks and stuff. So, and the wakeboarding community was so welcoming, because in 2018, after, getting grants for training from CAF Operation Rebound, I finally went to my first Western regionals and found out I'm the very first blind athlete ever to compete in wakeboarding.
Wow.
And the following year, and I went to the nationals that year and competed against one-armed amputees.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was two of them. And so I came in third. And then the following year, Ronex Wake sponsored me with new equipment. I went to 3 of the 4 regionals, was stand-up adaptive champion in the Southern region, Western region, Central region. Went to the nationals, competed against a one-legged amputee, and he beat me, because there's sight involved there. So, right. But then I went to the Worlds, and the Worlds were in 2019, the 30th anniversary of wakeboarding. And so I'm the very first blind, world champion in stand-up adaptive wakeboarding. And that community is so welcoming. I would always get these, so I wouldn't see it, but I would hear it. But there was standing ovation. No one gets standing ovations until I come up to the podium, and everybody just goes crazy. And that's even at the Worlds, from all the countries in the world, because they had already seen me wakeboarding the year before. And also that year in 2019 at the Nationals, they gave me the best trick award at the Nationals, and I'm not even going upside down like everybody, but they gave me big time respect for me being out there and, just being a wakeboarder. And it was the most awesome healing moment, both years, 2018, 2019, the biggest healing moments of my, being involved, because wakeboarding is just so awesome. It's so fun and everything. So, yeah.
Scotty, what's your favorite CAF moment?
Oh God. There's so many. I got so many opportunities. How about Apple doing a story on me and putting me the first type of story on a person in their newsroom? And Tim Cook puts out on Twitter, this is why we do what we do. Or last May, I wasn't feeling well, but I was there with 4 other CAF athletes at Cupertino, talking to all the employees on Global Awareness Day about how we use their Apple products. Those are a couple of opportunities that come to mind. And then, and then the first Worlds, you guys were the sponsors of the first adaptive surfing Worlds. And I emailed in and got in with, the open, an open. And I was one of 3 blind surfers, one from Chile, one from Spain, and myself. And we were competing against the one-legged prosthetic surfers. And that was the first adaptive Worlds. And and then from that point, and then they realized they needed a vision impaired division. And that's when the following year at the Nationals here in the United States, I became the very first U.S. blind surfing champion. And then and those years, I was also the very a member of the very first World Adaptive, USA World Adaptive Surf Team. Those 2 years. But now all the younger guys are beating me, and they've progressed the divisions to separate the low vision from the total blind. But that's a proud moment. But awesome. the most proud I am of just being the first, and then also being the first blind athlete in wakeboarding, because you guys supported me all those years in training, and the welcoming I got from that community was just so awesome and everything. So
Scotty, thank you so much for taking time. And thank you for being such a great role model for all of our CAF athletes.
well, I mean, I
always
can't
pushing
help it
athletes.
because here's the deal. We've got
Yeah.
so many athletes at Challenged Athletes Foundation and Operation Rebound that are inspiring. You know, I just didn't feel I was measuring up until now. I've got a world title, you know, because I mean, all our athletes are Olympians and everything else. And, you know, so I would, you know, but I finally feel like I kind of belong, and I've kind of like, you know, landed, you know, and can be proud that, and CAF and the whole family there can be proud, you know, because
Absolutely. Hey, Scotty,
you got, yeah.
thank you so much for being part.
Bob, no, thank you for, you know, beginning, you know, CAF with Jeff, and I'm forgetting his name.
Rick.
I've even met him a few times at
Yeah,
the
Jeff and Rick.
YMCA.
It's been a great journey, and you've been a huge part of that, Scotty.
No, you know, I'm so grateful to you guys. Thank you so much.
Hey, Scotty, thank you so much, buddy.
Yeah, happy holidays. You know what we can do on it, but you know.
There we go. Scott Leason has been our guest again, Challenged Athletes Live. Hold on, everybody. We will be back in a couple days. Take care.